As humans have advanced in technologies and trying to make new technology a day after day, we are collecting more and more data. Now the biggest challenge that industry face right now to analyze this data and try to gain insight from data or do certain kinds of action based on knowledge of data. Over here, the first step of understanding any data is about understanding the data definitions, and later on try to figure out what kind of data points are there and how they can help you to achieve these thoughts. Hi everyone, welcome to Red Cave. My name is Aditya, and in this video we are going to talk about the challenges that can be solved through different data types that are categorical and numeric, and how are their measurement levels divided into qualitative and quantitative. To do this discussion, I have Mayresh and Nirantar with me. They both are trying to transform their career into analytics from a development background and a sales engineer background. So stay tuned towards the end. We'll start with data and what are data types and what are their measurement levels. So let's just start with data. Whenever you hear word data, what does it mean to you? Nirantar?
Data means that provides some information that is collected.
Okay.
So it has data types.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be integers, decimals, or only having two values like booleans, or having some categories,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be simple text strings.
Hmm. Text. Okay. Mayresh?
Data means information about any company's process. That what does that company do, what they have achieved. That means the data.
Okay. So data simply means collection of either steps that are involved in any business process or actions that were supposed to made happen to reach that end goal. It's simple, like data points can be collected anywhere. It can be collected during your cricket match, and it can be collected on your factory floor, or maybe in your schools and colleges also. So everywhere we collect data or we register data in our mind on daily basis. So for example, if you want to wake up every day at, let's say, 5 o'clock, your mind starts registering the data in your head that every day that what time you are going getting up from bed. So for example, आज मैं 6 बजे उठा, कल मैं 6:15 को उठा. So it's like every day we will register that data point in our mind, and eventually we will reach to our goal, which is, let's say, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we collect data as a human everywhere. Now then, as we progressed, we developed system and tools to collect these data points. So for example, in industries we develop sensors, in our personal life we develop smartphones, smartwatches, which collect these data points for us. Now this entire data is stored on cloud largely, and we generate more data in a day than we were used to do in a year, like maybe 10-15 years ago, right? So that's what data means for everyone. Next is, what are different data types that you guys know of? Mayresh?
As Nirantar said, the data types are integer, decimal, characters,
Okay.
and float values, and time, date, or in terms of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the data
Okay.
types. Different
Okay.
types.
Nirantar, you want to add?
No, all he has covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So largely data types are categorized into two things in analytics. First is categorical second is numeric. These are data types at database level. When you hear word categorical, what it means to you, Irish?
No, I don't know anything about the categorical type.
Okay, and can you understand anything by numeric?
In numeric, we can add that date, time, the boolean data type.
Okay, Nirantar.
I think numeric can be anything: age, weight, those variables which have numbers
Mm-hmm.
in them. And categorical means the having categories.
Okay.
Means if someone is male or female, or yeah, so it has categories. So that is a categorical variable, and numeric means having numbers in them.
Okay, understood. So that is correct representation. So under categorical, like Nirantar mentioned, it would be male / female. So these are only two categories. So if your data can be classified into, let's say, few set of values, definitive set of values like 10 values, 5 values, or maybe like car brand, right? So there are only few car brands in the world, right? Just if you have to talk in India, it's like Audi, Mercedes, Mahindra, Tata, or Maruti, or Nissan, right? So you can count them, and those are definitive values. It will start with 1 and it will end somewhere. So that's what categorical variable means. So numeric have two types. One is discrete and second one is interval. So now if you hear word discrete, what it means to you, Nirantar?
Having whole numbers.
Whole
Means-
numbers.
Yeah.
And about interval?
Interval, no
Can-
idea.
Okay. So discrete is correct, whole numbers. Again, you can it could start with 0 and it could end with, let's say, 10, 15, 1050, somewhere, right? Interval is a kind of a continuation with data point. So we'll take examples so that we understand better. First is in discrete, having number of childrens, like say someone as a parents wants children, so either they will have 1 children, 2 children, 3 children, 5 children, 15 children, right? That's a definitive number. But whereas interval, it's a continuous change. So for example, interval is a temperature. There is no absolute value for temperature. It could be 32.004 degrees Celsius, or it could be 32.003 degrees Celsius. For our use case, we tried to use them at, let's say, 32 degrees Celsius, because these are non-significant values for us as a human. But eventually, if you look at that data point, that scale will be continuously changing after each minute. It's same with our height also. If your hairs are, let's say, straight, your height will be much a bit higher, and how you stand also defines your height. If you have a bit of poke in your back, your height will be bit less. It will be very minimal in maybe millimeters in terms of change, but it can be changing continuously. It's same with your weight. On weight, you might be like 38.004 kg, but let's say after you eat something, it would be 38.00545 kg. So that's what interval means. And discrete is very simple. And why categorical and numerical are distinctions? There are two things in analytics, right? First is to gain insight from the data point that we collect. you cannot read each data point. So for example, you own a company which runs an e-commerce store. अब ये तो कितना डेटा कमाए जनरेट करेंगे, राइट? जितने यूजर्स आएंगे, उनके विजिट्स होंगे. जस्ट थिंक ऑफ दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. You cannot go individually in each and every user's history and उसको देख के फिर सबके लिए मॉडल बना सकते हो, राइट? You need some kinds of aggregations, right? So in that categorical variable will be something like region. कि यार इस पर्टिकुलर रीजन में, सो फॉर एग्जांपल वी रन एन ई कॉमर्स स्टोर पैन इंडिया, तो हम इसमें स्टेट बना सकते हैं एक रीजन, राइट? तो इस स्टेट में क्या हो रहा है, दूसरे स्टेट में क्या हो रहा है. दैट्स हाउ कैटेगरीज आर बिल्ड. एंड देन ऑल्सो वेदर दैट वाज अ न्यू यूजर, हैव 1 to 10 रेटिंग, राइट? तो एवरी पॉइंट इज बेसिकली a integer in system as a data type, database type, but individually we treat it as a what do you call string only, right? कि एक मतलब सबसे बुरा है और 10 मतलब सबसे अच्छा है. Understood this part?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now we will move to the next part where we will discuss about the measurement levels that these each of categorical and numerical variables will have. So over here we have written interval as a numeric classification, discrete and interval, but ideally it's a discrete and continuous. Cool. So in next part we are talking about measurement levels of in each data type. So there are two measurement levels. One is qualitative and another one is a quantitative one. So we will first type it out, measure level, and then first one is qualitative, quantitative, right? So in whenever you hear qualitative measure type, so okay, first I'll define measure level means what. So how do you measure one variable? That defines measure level. Understood? कि आप एक वेरिएबल को कैसे गिन सकते हो हिंदी में, सिंपल, राइट? हाउ यू कैन रीड दैट वेरिएबल. So when you hear qualitative, what it means to you, Mayuresh?
Qualitative means what kind of variable that data is giving.
Can you just elaborate a bit?
What information it's giving that data type. State, if we talk in terms of state, in which state the more users are using the Zomato.
Okay.
In which city. Yeah.
Nirantar,
That will give
you want? You were saying something, Mayuresh.
that will give that city's count for the users.
Okay. Nirantar?
Qualitative variable, I guess, means that defines the quality that we are getting from the variable. That is means if the variable having the feedback from the user. So satisfactory, not satisfactory, very bad. These three variables are there if as a input from the user. So those will be the qualitative variable.
Okay. Good. So qualitative can be measured in two types. One is nominal and second one is ordinal. So what example Nirantar gave is kind of ordinal, where you have order in data. So you are going from very bad to satisfaction, right? So that is like very bad, okay, and satisfied. So first is nominal and second is ordinal. So this is like bad, okay, and then last one is satisfied, right? So order flows like this. So it's like maybe the values could be 1, 2, 3. Out of 3, how many stars you want to give us is something we see on daily basis, right? On feedback forms. Then nominal. Nominal is nothing but your normal categorical variable where you can categorize. So like brand names of car, like Audi, then Mercedes, right? Is the true logo right, or I've done something wrong?
No, it's right.
Right, right.
No, it's wrong.
It's something like half.
No, no. There are only three lines in that. You have drawn four.
So there are 3 lines. So I draw a circle for Mercedes logo. Then
Then center, from center, only three
from
lines.
here,
To the upper side and then to the both sides.
oh okay. So it's something like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mercedes. Basically, you guys can figure it out. But yeah, then we have, let's say, टाटा. सो वो ऐसा टी एंड उसके बाजू में सर्कल, राइट? नो, माई ड्राइंग स्किल्स आर नॉट वेरी गुड, सो just understand that I'm trying to name car brands over here, right? So that is your nominal data. So here qualitative means what is the difference between the measurement type of data. तो ordinal data में you have if you have to understand that data, you have to look at it in orders, right? But nominal में you can do look randomly. मतलब ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि कभी तुम टाटा को पहले देख लो, फिर ऑडी देख लो, फिर मर्सिडीज देख लो, विच इज़ फाइन. यू डोंट नीड टू फॉलो एन ऑर्डर इन दैट डेटा पॉइंट. सो मेल फीमेल में भी वैसा होता है, राइट? सो इफ़ यू लुक एट मेल फीमेल इट्स फाइन, right? But if you are, let's say, looking at data which is about where age is a major factor and age is bucketized. Okay, when we say bucketized, that means we create bins of data which is like 0 to 20 years का एक bin है, फिर 20 to 40 का एक bin है, 40 to 60 का एक bin, 60 to 80 और फिर 80 plus का एक bin है. So in that bin also if you have to, let's say, look at data की जो ग्रोथ है वो देखनी है. तो इफ़ यू लुक एट ऑर्डिनल सेंस कि फर्स्ट 0 to 20 बकेट का देखा, फिर 20 to 40 एंड देन सो ऑन, देन यू रियलाइज दैट इनिशियल ग्रोथ्स आर वेरी हाई इन ह्यूमन व्हेन दे आर यंग, बट लेटर ऑन इट डिकेज एज दे ग्रो ओल्ड. So that is what difference between nominal and ordinal. Now quantitative is divided into two parts. One is ratio and another one is interval. This is something I by mistake put up in the earlier section. So अब ये रेशो क्या होता है? कैन यू गाइज टेल मी? दिस रेशो वर्ड तो हम बहुत यूज करते हैं, राइट? सो मयूरेश, कैन यू टेल अस व्हाट मीन्स रेशो?
One eternity later.
Ratio means value that gives us gives us a count for the some variable.
Okay. Okay. Nirantar?
Ratio is dividing one value with another.
Correct. Cool. So it's basically you both are given half of answer, right? So counting things and then dividing those things will give you ratio. So for example, let's say Nirantar owns 10 cars, right? So 10 cars for Nirantar. And Mayuresh owns 15 cars. Now there will be a certain ratio between both of you, right? That will be, let's say, 1.5. Correct?
Yes.
What happened, Marish?
Not 1.5.
Sorry? Why?
1.5. Not 1.5. Ratio will be different.
It's 2/3.
But I'm
Yeah.
considering that you have more cars, so I'm giving you a preference that 15 divided by 10,
Okay. Then it will be 1.5.
right? So it's way of looking at data, right? If you look at in my way, it's 1.5. If you look at in your way, it's 15 divided by 10 divided by 15, right? So it's 2/3 then, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you understood this particular part, ratio,
Yes.
right? Now interval. Interval is something what we discussed in continuous in a simple sense. What is the true character of interval is there is no absolute zero. या absolute zero का मतलब क्या है? Do you understand absolute zero what it means?
No.
Okay, let's take an example of temperature. So 0 degree Celsius or 0 degree Fahrenheit, does it means absolute zero?
No. Because it can go beyond negative
Okay,
as well.
absolute zero doesn't mean that whether scale can go negative or not. Absolute zero means that the things
We
that's
can
supposed to
consider.
happen. Go
We
ahead.
can consider we can consider 0 degree Celsius or 0 degree Fahrenheit as absolute zero. Yes.
We can consider that as absolute zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
So it is giving the value, discrete value to
Okay.
us. That is
Okay, I'll make some things clear. So 0 degree Celsius का मतलब क्या है? सब कुछ freeze हो गया for us. But at 0 degree Celsius only water gets freezed. Not everything gets freezed. Ideally minus something 273 degree पे चीज atom stops moving for any item. So you need minus 273 degrees to freeze anything. जैसे मेटल है, मेटल तो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर पे भी फ्रीज रहता है. सो इज देयर एनी एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू ऑन विच एवरीथिंग गेट्स फ्रीज्ड? सो वो जीरो है क्या? नो, राइट? सो एट 0 degree टेम्परेचर ओनली वाटर गेट्स फ्रीज. दिस इज समथिंग वी नो. बट एब्सोल्यूटली इन द होल वर्ल्ड ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि सब फ्रीज हो जाता है उस टाइम पे. मेटल तो आज भी हमारे नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर पे भी फ्रीज रहता है, और बढ़ भी जाए तो भी फ्रीज रहता है. प्लास्टिक भी है जो अभी भी फ्रीज है. योर कॉटन इज ऑल्सो फ्रीज राइट नाउ. देयर एटम्स आर नॉट मूविंग, राइट? सो देर इज नो एब्सोल्यूट जीरोज इन दिस. और इसका रेशो नहीं बना सकते तुम किसी के साथ. तुमने कभी देखा है क्या टेम्परेचर का रेशो बनाते हुए लोगों को कि यार इस रेशो से उस रेशो का टेम्परेचर, मतलब यहाँ पे 10 डिग्रीज है तो वहाँ पे 15 डिग्रीज है तो ये रेशो बन गया. यू नेवर सीन रेशो फ्रॉम टेम्परेचर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, राइट? 0 डिग्री केल्विन को बोल सकते हैं. केल्विन स्केल का मुझे ज़्यादा आइडिया नहीं है, बट आई नो दैट कि 0 डिग्री केल्विन मीन्स वो पूरा फ्रीज हो जाता है दुनिया उसमें. बट दैट समथिंग मीन्स 273 डिग्री ऑफ सेल्सियस इन नेगेटिव. सो दिस इज वॉट इंटरवल मीन्स. कि इंटरवल ऐसा होता है कि देयर इज नो एब्सोल्यूट जीरो, रेशियोज कैन नॉट बी मेड एंड डेटा पॉइंट्स कैन चेंज कंटिन्यूसली. अभी तुम बाहर जाके टेम्परेचर चेक करो और 5 सेकेंड बाद वापस चेक करो, टेम्परेचर अलग हो जाएगा. सो देयर इज नो फिक्स वैल्यू अटैच टू इट, राइट?
Correct.
Cool. So that was it for today. In the next part we will discuss how these are important in terms of analytics and how we can use them combinedly to solve more problems. So any doubts till now, whatever we have discussed?
No.
no.
No? Great. So we will meet in the next part where we will discuss about how we can do more of analysis basis these variables. So thank you for joining today, and we'll meet soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.